Hello again. Welcome to your weekly sports report. I'm your host, the Phenom, Anis Melham. As always, I'm joined by my co-host
Sunny Big Man Dio.
and special guest this week,
Jasper Jessa Desange.
So, welcome to the ATP edition of your weekly sports report. And as you all know, Wimbledon has been going on, and it's been a hell of a tournament. Lots of upsets, lots of crazy things going on. We'll start today by talking about the biggest change or biggest upset that happened on the day. Is Roger Federer was eliminated in the quarterfinal against Kevin Anderson of South Africa. Now, this is one of those classic matches. Honestly, I think this is one of the classic matches of Wimbledon of all time, where Roger Federer was actually up 2 sets, and in the third set got to match point and lost the match point, lost that set, lost the next set, and then lost the fifth set, 13-11 in a marathon of a match that was just unbelievable. I mean, if somebody's going to drop 3 sets in a row after being up 2, and it's just not Roger Federer who does that. The guy has a killer instinct. Get this. Roger Federer had actually tied his all-time straight sets. He'd won 35 sets in a row at Wimbledon, dating back to last year, and ends up losing in 5 sets. He tied it. Had he won that match point, not only would he have beaten his record, but at 36, almost 37 years old, would have made the semifinal of Wimbledon with a really, really good chance of making it to the finals. But eliminated in 5, I guess he'll be back at it next year. Guys that did advance, though, on the day, Novak Djokovic beat Kei Nishikori for Novak to make it to the semifinal. Other matches, Rafael Nadal beat Argentinian Juan Martin del Potro also in 5 sets, and he'll be in the semifinal. And our own Canadian boy Milos Raonic unfortunately fell in 4 sets to American John Isner. So this sets up Kevin Anderson, 8th seed of South Africa, against 9th seed John Isner, and this is really going to be probably the match of the 2 semifinals. It's Djokovic versus Nadal. So that should be really fun for everyone to tune into that one. 2 heavyweights going at it. On the men's side, I mean, predictions probably Anderson and Nadal for me on my end anyway to meet in the final. So it looks like all things are looking for Nadal maybe to win another Wimbledon here, which is great because he owns the French Open. So for him to get another Wimbledon title under his belt is great for his legacy. But we'll have to see what occurs. On the women's end, as we mentioned last time, all of the top seeds are gone. And so Simona Halep of Romania lost in 3 sets to Su Wei Si of Taiwan in the round of 32. And I mean, she was the first seed. I mean, last time we talked, it was like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 10th, I think, had already been eliminated. In the meantime, Venus Williams got eliminated, and 7th seed Karolina Pliskova lost in straight sets to 20th ranked Kiki Bertens of Holland. So I mean, at this point, it looks like this is the first time, by the way, that no top 10 seeds have reached the quarterfinal in the history of Wimbledon on the women's side. So this was an absolute monster of a tournament, and it sets up some great matches coming up. Serena Williams defeated Camilla Giorgi of Italy. Obviously, Serena at this point, I mean, she's your favorite. Daria Kasatkina of Russia fell in 2 sets to Angelique Kerber of Germany. And these are quarterfinals that I'm mentioning. Dominika Sibylkova of Slovakia loses in straight sets to Yelena Ostapenko of Latvia. And Kiki Bertens then went on to lose to, then went on to lose to Julia Georges of Germany. So this sets up the women's semifinal of Yelena Ostapenko against Angelique Kerber of Germany in one semifinal, and the other has Julia Georges of Germany against Serena Williams. Honestly, I think this is Serena's tournament to take now. I think I mentioned that before. Like, I really can't see anyone else really coming in and topping her. I mean, she's just the greatest female tennis player of all time. And the only reason she's ranked 25th is because she took a year off to have a kid. So, I mean, you can't blame her for being a mother at the end of the day. Jessa,
Yeah.
why don't you fill us in with some of the betting lines here on the semifinal matchups?
All right. So between Djokovic and Nadal, right now you're getting even money on Nadal, so it's 2-1. So basically, if you take Nadal, put $1 down, you get $1 back.
Sure.
Djokovic, it's 1.8. So for every dollar you put down, you're getting 80 cents back, which is not bad for both those two.
Because it's a toss-up,
It's
really.
a toss-up, yeah. And same with the other one. The other one's 1.9 for Kevin Anderson, and the same thing for John Eisner.
So maybe you're better off betting on the final. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Or to who you think is going to win the final.
Yeah,
Because you could take either Djokovic or Nadal. I think one of those two is going to win it.
most likely.
Most likely, that's the winner. The winner of that semi is going to win it all,
Yeah.
right? I understand that was it Anderson, right? Who beat
Kevin Anderson, who beat Federer.
Yeah, but that's once in a lifetime. Let's not get carried away.
I mean, he is a top 10 player, but still young. And, that's
Maybe
some
he's
killer
up and coming.
instinct.
Maybe he's coming up.
Yeah. I mean, Federer is at the end, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can see that with Kevin Anderson, but you're right. Once in a lifetime to make this kind of a
Yeah.
comeback.
Well, from being down set point or
Match
match
point.
match point.
And straight sets to come back and,
Yeah,
and
that,
win.
he'll never forget that.
No.
And he's been probably the greatest tennis player of all time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You could say he is
Yeah.
the greatest tennis player.
He is.
He is,
He
right?
is the greatest tennis player.
Even
of
though it's
all
at the
time.
end of his career, and
Still
fatigue-
ranked one.
Yeah.
Still ranked one.
That's a story that Kevin Anderson, if he never does anything in his life again,
Yep.
can tell his grandkids.
That was like when Shapovalov beat Nadal like a year ago.
yeah.
It's one of those. Well, you'll never forget it, but you'll never do it again.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the other thing.
But in the women's semis, let's be honest here, it's going to be Serena. She's going to.
Yeah, just put your money on Serena.
You might not get a big return, but that's guaranteed money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Serena's a heavy favorite. She should win it.
Good stuff. Question.
So, Jado, if I picked Djokovic to win the whole tournament right now, what would the odds be?
You're looking at 2.37.
I take that. Why not?
No, Nadal's not bad either.
What's
2.5.
the
2.5.
Either one of those.
Yeah.
I bet $100 on both. You might make.
yeah.
You'll just make your money back.
I'm trying to win some money, not just break even, bro.
Oh,
Hey, if you want a long shot, like take Kevin Anderson or Eisner. Anderson 7-1, Eisner 7.5-1.
That's good.
That's not bad,
that's
but
not bad, man. If you want to get a little frisky.
yeah, but it's gonna be Nadal or Djokovic. It's one of those two. The semifinals, that semifinal is the winner coming out of it.
How about for the ladies? What do you got?
Serena is 2-1, so that's not a bad bet if you want
Yeah.
Serena to win. Kerber is 3.25, so she's not a bad bet either. But my money would be on Serena.
Yeah.
If you're asking me who
Yeah.
I'm going to take to win it outright, that's actually not a bad bet. 2-1 on Serena.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
would be.
I thought it'd be a lot lower too.
Yeah.
It's just because of her ranking, right?
It could be. But the thing is, this is Serena Williams.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like we said, guaranteed money.
Goddamn Terminator.
You already said it. Guaranteed money.
Yeah.
She's
You can parlay.
really cool.
I think you can parlay both. That make a little bit of money there. You know.
So, just going back to the men's semifinal, particularly the Djokovic and Nadal setup. I mean, both of these guys I think they're also starting to come down from their prime as well. Do you think that maybe either of them can be susceptible to younger guys like Eisner or Anderson, given the fact that, Djokovic is coming off injuries and Nadal is never always truly healthy. There's always something there.
I think both of them can be. I think they're getting older in their careers. They both can be taken advantage of at times, but
Yeah, look what just happened to Federer, right?
exactly right. Age catches up with everybody.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, hopefully one of them will make the final, and hopefully they can win it.
What do you think of the future on Milos Raonic here? For the last few majors, or at least in the last couple of years, he's made it quite deep. can't ever really get over that hump and win a final or you know what I mean. But he's consistently there now. Consistently one of the last 8, one of the last 4 in various tournaments and majors and everything. I mean, is he on the verge of actually becoming one of the top tennis players in the world?
I think he kind of is what he is right now. I think he's just gonna stay.
I agree with
what
that.
he is.
I think
Maybe he'll win a tournament here and there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll win a major.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
I mean, he's got a hell of a serve.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
his return game is like when he's not serving his game is not the best. His service, I agree, it's huge.
It's unreal, yeah, but it's not everything. You're right.
You gotta have more than just a serve.
You have to have more than
Your return game's got to be good.
just one weapon.
Yeah, and he's a big boy. A lot of pounding on the knees when he's running.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll see how long he lasts.
Shapovalov also made an early exit in this tournament. It was a little bit of a disappointment. We talked a little bit about it last week and how a lot of it had to do with him not being very strong in tiebreakers, being someone that needs a little bit more patience and maybe a little bit more seasoning in there. I mean, he's only 19 years old, so it's not like he's a veteran yet.
Yeah.
Do you see him being maybe surpassing Raonic, and maybe he can be the Canadian tennis player that actually makes it all the way to finals and wins majors, or is Raonic our best hope for the time being?
No, he's young enough. He's still got a lot of time. Chappell, I can't even pronounce his name.
Shapovalov.
I think he has a better chance to be successful down the road than Raonic does, to be honest.
All right, good stuff. We'll get back at you guys next week with.
You need Jeannie Bouchard stuff? No, we're not talking about her?
No, we're not talking about.
Come on, man. She's the only guest that we should be talking about.
You know what? We talked about Jeannie Bouchard. She's a disappointment.
Yeah, she is.
She keeps falling out early in. I think she went out in the second round.
Yeah, she should be better than that.
Well, she got on a hot streak a few years ago, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
really dropped off.
Ever since then, she got a little modeling contract. She did a little this, a little that.
Anna Kournikova, same thing,
Yes, more or less. I agree with you.
right?
But
Like-
then remember Maria Sharapova?
Well,
She had the
Sharapova
look-
actually won
She
titles,
won.
though.
She won.
And then when she got busted on that doping scandal, and she just hasn't been the
Russians.
same.
What can you say about the Russians?
They're all about that.
It's inbred in
They're
them.
all about that dope. They're all about that.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hey,
There
you
was
ain't
a-
about that dope. You ain't about that dope.
There was an Olympic curler that was caught at the last Olympics for doping. And
Russian?
Yeah.
Oh God.
A Russian Olympic curler that was caught for doping at the last Olympics. And this was like after they banned Russia for doping. That this guy was still doping. So
I guess he learns from the Patriots.
Shout out Rick Parr.
And that's going to be your last word on the ATP for this week. We'll be back next week to recap this semifinals and the final at Wimbledon. And we'll talk about the upcoming British Open a little bit more, a bit of a preview of it. I know we promised that for this week, but I think it'll be better just to leave it the next week because it'll be right before the tournament starts. And, get everyone looking forward to the next major in the PGA Tour. Thanks for listening, and we'll get back. What's up?
I might give you a little gambling pick for next week's PGA Tour, the British Open.
All right, we'll include some of Jessa's.
Gambling. We're trying to do a gambling show.
Hey man, it's all about gambling. Everyone wants to know who everybody likes.
Yeah. It's
Right?
all about the dollars.
Who doesn't like a little bit of free action? You know?
Okay, for those of you that bet on the PGA, you can hear Jessa out for that. Thanks for listening, though, and we'll holler at you guys next week. Take care.